Hey there, and welcome into another exciting episode of A for Effort. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, we start off giving thanks to our unofficial sponsor of the podcast, AMC A-List. $19.95 a month gets you 3 movies a week at local AMC theaters in your area. Check AMC.com for theater listings and offer availability. In today's episode, we're going to break down the reboot of a franchise that I really loved, and that was Hellboy. Now, I'll be the first to say I've never read a Hellboy comic, but I did see the original 2 movies and was absolutely, amazed by them. I had a great time watching them. I own them. They're great movies. Now, with that being said, and like I said earlier, I've never seen a comic or read one of the comics. This version, to me, was lackluster. And I hate to say it because I really love the character of Hellboy from the original movies, but this version was just bad. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't have a good time. It's not that the performances were bad. I just felt like there was too much going on to really enjoy the movie that I was watching. Neil Marshall directed. David Harbour, Ian McShane, Saoirse Lane, Daniel Day Kim, Mila Jovovich, Thomas Hayden Church all-star. Like I said, the performances were good. David Harbour as Hellboy was great, just as good as Ron Perlman. In fact, I even thought he was a little better than Ron Perlman. He brought a little bit more to the table. But the plot, the many characters and many plot points just took away from the movie that I was watching. You know, if they would have just stuck with the Mila Jovovich plotline and allowed that character to have the entire movie without introducing the Baba Yaga or an occult that wanted to take out Hellboy, it was just too much, all rolled into one. Like I said, David Harbour was great. You know, there were certain points of it that were good. Like there was a fight with some giants in the middle of the movie that I think is the high point of the movie, and then after that it kind of teeters off. You know, I don't know much, like I said, about the comics, so I don't know if the plot points about Hellboy being related to King Arthur are true. Excalibur was in it, Merlin, King Arthur, like all this stuff just felt like overkill. And like I said, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I know all these things. I don't. But for me, watching this movie, it had way too many hands in the kitchen, if you ask me. Now, through some reading and some research, I've come to find out that this was a very turmoiled set, that actors were rewriting their own scripts on set daily. The director didn't have final cut say. There was an argument daily about a tree in the movie. These things just lead to a bad production set and also just lead to the bad movie, because this is not what we're here to see. We're here to see a good movie. You never hear about this kind of turmoil on other movie sets like Marvel movies and such, you know, and if they do, then they quickly part ways. This guy stuck it out, tried to make this movie, and it didn't work. And personally, I've seen better this year. I was disappointed. I went in highly anticipating this movie because I was a huge fan of the original 2 with Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro. It just underwhelmed, and I almost fell asleep at one point because it was just boring. There was nothing drawing me in. Even the fight scenes were boring. There's just nothing to draw me in and get me prepared for the movie that I was gonna watch. Like, it was just boring. And we didn't even stay for post-credit scenes. There were 2. We didn't stay for either of them. You know, it just felt there was unnecessary gore. There's a scene where like a monster like rips this guy's skin off, like flays him, but then drags him over a curb and rips off his flesh, and he's just bone. Like, it's just like, it was unnecessary. It was over the top. It was comical gore, to say. It was just not exactly what I was looking for in a Hellboy movie. With that being said, it's going to be my first A- of the year. I just didn't enjoy the movie. I hate the fact that I have to give this movie an A- because I really like the character of Hellboy. Maybe I'll do some research into the comic books and see if all these things, my gripes with the movie, like the King Arthur stuff and all these multiple plot points, are true to the comic, and maybe that'll change my outlook on the film. But for now, it gets that. It's sad to say. I really had a bad time with this movie. It was really bad. Like, unbearably bad. And